Welcome to the lesson on brand strategy. In this lesson, we will look at what the brand strategy fundamentals are and what distinguishes companies who approaches branding as an asset versus those who consider branding as a product. Since we're focused on digital, we will explore how it revolutionized some aspects of branding. And lastly, we will spend some time looking at building brands for startups, small businesses, or multi-brand global organizations. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to describe the role of the values, vision, mission, objectives, and promises in defining your brand. Explain how defining your brand as an asset or as a product will impact everything afterward. Discuss how digital is impacting brands and the role of the brand manager. Analyze how brand marketing might differ from various types of organization. Brand values. First, let's demystify what a brand strategy is and isn't. Your brand is not your product, logo, website, or name. In fact, your brand is much more than that. It's more intangible. It's the hard to pin down feeling that separates powerhouses and mediocre brands from each other. We can present the concept of branding as a hierarchy. First, the values of your organization are the ultimate aspirational principles you stand for. From a brand marketing perspective, it is the starting point on which you perform this work, the fundamental motivation for your decisions. Even if the world keeps changing around you, your brand core values tend to remain very constant. Seth Godin, the best-selling author, wrote, "A brand's value is merely the sum total of how much extra people will pay, or how often they choose the expectations, memories, stories, and relationships of one brand over the alternatives." The opposite would be a commodity, an item with little or no perceived brand value. And you probably don't want that because it would mean people are not seeking it out. If people relate to your brand values, they might be willing to pay a premium. Next comes the vision. What do you aspire to achieve? Where do you want to go? It represents the hopes and ambitions. When Microsoft revisited its global image in 1994, its tagline was, "Where do you want to go today?" The branding campaign had Microsoft spending $100 million through July 1995, of which $25 million was spent during the holiday shopping season. The values and the vision leads to your mission. At this point, things becomes achievable. This is what you want to do and who you want to do it with, be it employees or partners maybe. Now you have a motivation and a purpose. Then it's time to get strategic and define good objectives that everyone can rally around. Those objectives paves the way for how you are going to make things happen. Good objectives will help you plan, prioritize, and most importantly, communicate what you want to do. The last and lowest level of the pyramid becomes very specific and tangible. It describes specifically what you have to do, and the key performance indicators, KPIs for short, will let you know how you are progressing toward defined objectives. While the winning condition of the previous point was communication, this one is all about typical project management, tasks, actions, who will own them, when they will be done, what kind of resources are required, and what should you expect once the tasks are and actions are completed. Brand vision. Behind every successful business is one important ingredient, an effective brand. And behind every brand is a story built upon a strong vision. To create a brand, you'll need two important elements, a brand mission and a brand vision. While a mission tells your investors, team, and audience where your company is focusing today, a vision tells the most important people around you where you're going tomorrow. It highlights where you hope to find yourself in the future. Mark Lipton, the author of Guiding Growth, How Vision Keeps Companies on Course, doesn't believe in a vision statement. He argues that management inevitably gets too dependent on a piece of paper hung up on conference room walls. It is far more important that all managers talk to people about the vision in their own way, using their own language. You don't want to have a vision statement that is too constrained. It should describe why the organization is doing what it does. It should be a challenging and far-reaching purpose. The vision needs to address three interdependent core topics: a mission statement presenting the organization's purpose, the reasons for being, and a claim to be able to solve something for its customers, a strategy explaining how the mission will be achieved, and values, the beliefs, attitudes, assumptions embraced on a daily basis through all the activities necessary to move the needle through the strategy, closer to the mission, and ultimately the vision. Brand mission. A vision statement describes where the company aspires to be. A mission statement is more tangible and a more action-oriented version of the vision statement. It states clearly the purpose the organization serves for its audience. A good mission statement is inspiring, transformational, and often has a touch of surprise. Of course, you want your mission statement to be closely aligned with your corporate values and culture and serves as an anchor to guide actions now and into the future. Tesla is a good example. We all associate the name with fancy electric cars, and you might not even know where the name originated from. Nikola Tesla is the engineer and scientist known for designing the alternating current electric system. But Tesla's mission isn't just about creating cool self-driving cars. The whole company is about putting the environment first by creating innovative solutions using electricity. So this includes cars, of course, but also solar panels and clean energy storage. Brand objectives. The objectives describes a set of decisions to reach short to mid-term goals. A strategy is put into practice by splitting it up into specific actions and tasks to be carried out. And those should be measurable through key performance indicators, the metrics which can convey progress toward those goals. Since there are as many visions and missions as there are strategies, conversely, there are infinite possibilities of brand objectives. Nevertheless, we can identify some common objectives for brand marketers. Establish an identity for the brand, especially for small businesses and startups, measured with surveys to understand if the brand is viewed by your target audience. Increase brand recognition of its unique attributes such as visual symbols, logo, packaging, colors, or even a unique audio signature like the ta-da of Dolby, for example. Again, this can be measured through brand recognition surveys. We often joke that a campaign without a goal is merely an awareness campaign by default. But seriously speaking, increasing brand awareness is a legitimate objective. It represents the percentage of customers who can recall your brand and being top of mind. Being the first brand that comes to mind for your target audience has its value. Engagement is also an important objective. And just like engagement in a real relationship can mean very different things, what constitutes engagement is your prerogative. So don't forget to clearly define it. Oftentimes, engagement on a website is defined in terms of number of page views or time spent on the website, while on social media, engagement might be the number of comments, likes, and shares. Increasing the number of customers who regularly purchase your brand means increasing loyalty. And when you know that acquiring new customers is a factor more expensive than keeping existing ones, this counts for a lot in your profitability. In this age of social media and influencers, increasing advocacy can ultimately lower your marketing costs. Brand equity. The value of your brand is another way to measure how successful your brand is. Your objective as a brand marketer might be to increase brand equity over time. What's unique about brand equity is the commercial value that derives from consumer perception of the brand, rather than the revenue derived from the product or service itself. That is, the brand equity is from the customer perspective. Speaking of financial value, we can't avoid market share, the percentage of your target market that are customers. And ultimately, all of the above will impact your revenue margins. Brand promise. Your brand promise is a distilled version of your company vision and mission statement meant to inspire your current and potential customers. Instead of describing how you do what you do, your brand promise describes the experience you deliver to your customers. It's what sets you apart and is a way your customers can hold you accountable for. If your brand doesn't deliver what you promised, in time, customers will hold you accountable and eventually they will make you pay the price. In today's social media world, vetting out broken brand promises immediately impacts credibility and your brand's perceived value. And this is true regardless of the type of industry. Brand promises are constantly being demonstrated through your actions and tactics. Great brands also convey great promises and expectations. There are a couple of key attributes of good brand promises. They are indicate specific experience you can expect. For example, Revlon says, "Feel like a woman." Make it obvious why you are different. M&M's, "Melt in your mouth, not in your hands," is a great example. Make your brand promise quantifiable. The insurance company Geico says 15 minutes or less can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Use actionable language. Be more than descriptives or aspirational. What's the end game? For example, Disney says, "Creating happiness through magical experiences." Keep it short and easy to understand. Save money, live better is Walmart. Be bold, be honest. Don't overpromise something you can't live for. Which brings the next one. Speak to what matters most to your core customers and most loyal advocates. The brand experience needs to closely match the brand promise. You certainly don't have to encompass every single element of your brand experience in everything you do, but you'll want to be consistently promoting what makes you stand out. Nike does an excellent job at conveying its brand promise consistently. Be it a full-page advertisement in a magazine or a banner ad on a website. With such a strong brand, they can simply use their iconic black and white logo to state a simple but powerful message. Nike's brand promise is so strong that people don't wear shoes, they wear Nike. Brand as a product or an asset. The perception of a brand is defined by what consumers see when they think about your company and its products. This perception is influenced in two ways: by what you show people and by what they experience. If we contrast and compare products and brands, we can uncover some universal truth. Companies make products, consumers build brands. Products can be copied and replaced by competitors, but brands are unique and cannot be duplicated. Products will eventually become obsolete, but brands can renew themselves, innovate, and be timeless. Products are useful, but brands are significant. How digital is revolutionizing branding. Consumer, customers, and employee behavior continues to evolve along with technology, while marketing remains in the crosshairs of disruption. The revolution started with the internet, but quickly accelerated due to social, mobile, Internet of Things, and the promise of automation and artificial intelligence. Take those three areas of transformation. As the internet and the web evolved, organizations migrated their service and product online while updating their technical infrastructure. What we call the MarTech stack, those technologies and services used by digital marketers, followed suit. Frictions were removed and organizations had to stake their claim on the web and social media. Marketers were used to push their message on TV, radio, newspapers, and magazines, but consumers had a new voice and they share their likes and dislikes about brands, sometimes harshly. Brands couldn't ignore the true voice of their customers anymore. One of the most powerful shifts in our time is the mainstreaming of mobile technologies and how it transformed our behavior. It's anytime, anywhere nature broke down the classic linear sales funnel into a consumer journey influenced by micro moments brand experiences. Transformation imperatives. Consumers now expect immediate response to customer service requests on social media, and they would rather engage digitally or as opposed to pick up the phone. HubSpot, the popular inbound marketing and sales service provider, reveals that 80% of customers expect companies to respond to their social media posts within 24 hours. Even more, 50% of customers claim they would cease doing business with a company that fails to respond to a negative social media post. Those negative comments are enough to influence 62% of customers to cease doing business with those brands. Another study, this time from Forbes, reveals that 59% of customers said being treated as an individual was more important than how fast the issue was resolved. That is, customers expect a personalized response tailored to their needs and issues. And finally, in another survey of 690 people who attempted to contact a company through social media for customer support, 57% of them expect the same response time at night and on weekends as during normal business hours. Digital Transformation Roadmap. McKinsey & Company puts it simply and elegantly. No rule book will solve all of this. A transformation is not a science. The only way forward for a company is to learn as it goes and figure out how to apply lessons as scale is built. Along the way, there will be important markers for success. The term digital transformation puts the emphasis on technological change, but it becomes clear to anyone who understands digital technology's potential that what is afoot is less of a digital transformation and more of a fundamental rethink of the corporate model, for which digital technology is a catalyst. For some, this transformation will be rapid. For others, it will be much more gradual and there will be numerous roadblocks and challenges. But in every case, it is inevitable. It is a matter of long-term survival and sustainability. Contrary to other challenges the organization have faced over the years, digital transformation is a never-ending journey mirroring the fast-paced digital landscape changes. How to build a brand from scratch. Starting a brand from scratch or not much isn't easy. This is commonly the case for startups, small businesses, or when creating a new product. What should it look like? How should it make people feel? Will it resonate with my target audience? Those questions inevitably come up when you start thinking about how to connect dots between what you're selling and the audience you're trying to reach. When faced with a writer's block, follow these 7 steps. Research your target audience and your competitors. Identify your core values. Choose your business name. Define your branding attributes. Write a slogan aligned with your mission. Design your logo. Apply your branding across your business and evolve as you grow. Let's explore each of them one by one. Research your target audience. First, you need to figure out your place in the market and try to answer those 3 questions. Find out who your lowest hanging fruit customers are. Which competitors' names come to mind when thinking about your product or service category? What your customers talk about, and especially how they talk about you or your competitors. What is the lingua franca of your customers? For example, if I'm going to launch a new brand of luxury fashion apparel, I might identify Louis Vuitton as a competitor, and using social listening tool, I can uncover what comes up when people talk about the brand. Identify your core values. Next, define your brand's core values, focus, and personality. Which words are associated with your brand? If your brand was a person, a car, an animal, which qualities would describe him or her? It sounds funny, but it works. Is there a metaphor or a concept which can describe your brand easily? What's your positioning statement? Can you fill out the proposed statement? Something like, We offer water bottles for hikers to stay hydrated while reducing their carbon footprint. Unlike other water bottles brands, we plant a tree for every bottle you buy. This is pretty much what the Canadian company 10tree.ca sells. Choose your business name. Choosing a business name is difficult and there are many ways to do it. You can make up a completely new word like Kodak. You can reframe a totally unrelated word into something else, like Apple for computers. Use a metaphor or a suggestive word in line with your business, like buffer. You can literally describe what you do, like the shoe company, although they can be easily imitated. Add or remove letters like Tumblr, or use Latin root to alter a word like Activia. You could use an abbreviation like HBO for Home Box Office, combine two words, Pinterest or Facebook, or turn several words into an acronym like BMW. Define your branding attributes. Once you've got a name, you'll need to think about how you will visually represent your brand, its colors, typography, and imagery. Color psychology isn't an exact science, but we know colors are more than the simple look of your brand. They also convey the feeling you want to communicate. This infographic from the Logo company offers a nice overview of the emotions and associations that different colors generally evoke. Write a slogan that aligns with your mission. A catchy slogan isn't necessary, but if you can think of something brief and descriptive that you can put in your Twitter bio, website headlines, business cards, and anywhere else where you've got a few words to make a big impact, it definitely helps your branding efforts. A good slogan is short, catchy, and makes a strong impression. Here are some ways to approach writing a slogan of your own. You could state your claim. Death Wish Coffee use the world's strongest coffee. Make a metaphor like Red Bull gives you wing. Embrace your customer's feeling. L'Oréal because you're worth it. Leverage labels. Cards Against Humanity, a party game for horrible people. Write a rhyme. Folgers Coffee. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Or describe it literally. Aritzia use Women's Fashion Boutique. Design your logo. A logo is probably one of the first things that comes to mind when people think about branding. Of course, it's the face of your company after all, and could potentially be everywhere. You'll want a logo that's unique, identifiable, and that's scalable to work on all sizes and across all mediums. Consider all the places where your brand logo could be shown, from your website to your Facebook page profile picture to even the little fav icons you see in your browser tab. There are various ways to think about a logo. Is it going to be abstract, a mascot, or emblem? Maybe it will simply use letters or words, or a combination of an icon and a few words. Apply and evolve your branding. Your role as a brand marketer will be to consistently use it across every possible scenario. Your role is to nudge customers in the right direction, make a great first impression, and manage your reputation, but remember you will never have 100% control over how people perceive your brand. Initially, you should focus on 3 points. Build customer trust and develop good alliances rather than trying to beat competitors at all costs. Welcome ideas and foster a culture where changes are welcome. Brands remain relevant when they adapt to their changing environment. The classic "build it and they will come" rarely works. Watch, listen, and learn before you move. Branding KPIs. Once you have done all of this, there are 3 key performance indicators that you will want to track. Brand awareness, the percentage of customers who can recall your brand. Loyalty, or retention rate, the percentage of customers the company has retained over a given time period, and its opposite metric, churn rate, or attrition. Advocacy can be measured in different ways. Net Promoter Score is one method. Measuring the frequency and quality of brand mentions could be another. Brands within a brand. Building and nurturing brands within a multi-brand organization is somewhat similar to what we've just seen for startups and small businesses, but it poses its own set of challenges. A multi-brand strategy does exactly what it says. It approaches multiple similar and competitive brands of the same company under the disguise of different brand names. The idea behind a multi-brand strategy is often to restrict and interfere with the competition, and in doing so capture a larger share of the overall market. Types of multi-brand strategies. We can distinguish three broad scenarios of multi-brand companies. First case is when the only thing that differentiates products from competitors is the brand image or identity. For example, FedEx has various services like FedEx Premium, FedEx Cargo, FedEx Lite, FedEx Office, etc. Here the differentiation is with respect to the function of the brand identity, and the brand name is kept the same. If the main idea of the corporation is shared among every product the organizations offer, then having multi-products under a single brand is a wise approach and an efficient decision. The second scenario is when the distinction is made through different brand names but under a strong parent company name. Products and services offered by numerous Virgin Group Limited distinct brands are always proud that they were bred from a worldwide brand. But this strategy carries certain risks. For example, if any of the underlying products fail, it might reflect on the whole organization. Of course, proper management and supervision can significantly minimize this risk. And our last example is where brand names are kept distinct and the audience has no clue as to which brand belongs to the parent company. Larger corporations run multi-brand strategy as a way to differentiate individual brands running in the same market at the same time. Sometimes there is even internal competition amongst different products sharing the same parent company, or in some cases the same product might be branded differently in different cultures and geographies. For example, Zocor, produced by Merck, is a drug used along with exercise, diet, and weight loss to decrease elevated lipid levels. The exact same drug is known as Lipex in Australia, New Zealand, Croatia, and a few other countries. Geographies. You might have noticed some products, brands, or stores have different names in different countries. There are several possibilities. Some global companies come up with new brand name in different countries because theirs is already taken. While expanding in Australia, Burger King had to come up with another name as Burger King was already trademarked by a takeaway restaurant, so they called it Hungry Jack's. In other cases, the brand needs to adapt to the local language. Mr. Clean is known as Don Limpio in Spain, Mastro Lindo in Italy, Mr. Proper in Germany, Pan Proper in Poland, or Mr. Propre in Belgium and France. And yet, they all share the same bald-headed, strong guy who will help you clean. Sometimes it's preferable to keep a well-established local brand even after an acquisition. Potato chips brand Lay's is called Smith's in Australia. And lastly, companies have to be careful about their brand names because the meaning can be different in foreign languages. Initially, Mercedes-Benz entered the Chinese market under the brand name Benzi, which means rush to die. Or this other time when Pepsi slogan Pepsi brings you back to life debuted in China as Pepsi brings you back from the grave. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground in thinking about your brand strategy. Here's a summary of what you should take away from this lesson. Thinking of your brand values, vision, mission, objectives, and action as a pyramid will help you go from your aspirations to specific and tangible outcomes. Over time, the value of a brand can surpass the value of the individual products it represents. A brand is an important asset. Digital already transformed the brand-customer relationship, and it's not over, so the term transformation should become a way of life for your organization. Revisiting your brand as if it were a startup can shed a new light and help drive changes while other factors like geographies and culture can significantly alter its perception.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simply Learn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.